For some reason, modern culture insists on framing God and science as enemies, as if believing in one requires rejecting the other. But that idea isn't scientific. It isn't historical and it isn't even logical. The truth is this: science doesn't disprove God, science describes the mechanisms of the universe that already exist. And the question science cannot answer is the most important of all. Why is there something rather than nothing? Now, this content represents my own personal beliefs, interpretations, and experiences. It's not intended to force beliefs on anyone. I encourage viewers to do their own research, question, and form their own conclusions based on evidence and reflection. Now, science is a method, not a worldview. It observes patterns, laws, and repeatable behavior. Science can tell us how gravity works, but not why gravity exists. It can explain how DNA replicates, but not why information exists at all. It can measure the universe expanding, but not what cause existence itself. Even leading physicists admit this. The laws of physics are not self-creating. They are descriptions, not explanations. You don't say a book wrote itself because you understand grammar, and you don't say the universe created itself just because you understand equations. This is not opinion, this is documented history. Many of the founders of modern science believed that studying nature was a way of understanding the mind of God. Isaac Newton, Laws of Motion and Gravity, wrote more on theology than physics. Johannes Kepler, Laws of Planetary Motion, said science was thinking God's thoughts after him. Galileo Galilei, astronomy and physics, believed the universe followed order because it was created by an ordered creator. Gregor Mendel, father of genetics, was a Christian monk. Louis Pasteur, germ theory, openly rejected atheist materialism. They didn't see faith as the enemy of science. They saw faith as a reason science was worth doing, because an ordered universe implies an intelligent source. Here's something atheism struggles to explain. Why does math work at all? Mathematics is abstract, non-physical, and yet it perfectly governs physical reality. Numbers don't exist in space or time, and yet the universe obeys them. This is why even Einstein said, the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it's comprehensible. If the universe were chaos, science wouldn't be possible. Science depends on consistency, predictability, and order. Order is not accidental. Chaos does not write laws for itself. Before the 20th century, many scientists believed the universe was internal. Then came the Big Bang. Suddenly, science discovered the universe had a beginning. Space, time, matter, and energy all came into existence together. This presented a serious problem for atheism, because whatever created space and time must exist outside of space and time. Whatever caused matter cannot itself be material, and whatever initiated energy cannot be bound by energy. That description lines up far more closely with God than with nothing. Nothing has no power. Nothing does nothing. DNA is not just chemistry. It's a coded information, instructions, language, and syntax. In every known instance, codes come from minds. Information comes from intelligence, and no one has ever observed unguided processes created new, meaningful information from nothing. This doesn't eliminate natural process, it explains why they function at all. God doesn't replace science, and God explains why science works. Science is limited to the natural world. God, by definition, would be beyond the natural world. That's not a flaw, that's a category boundary. You don't use a metal detector to search for thoughts, and you don't use a telescope to find morality, and you don't use a laboratory instruments to measure metaphysical reality. Rejecting God because science can't measure him is like rejecting love because it can't be weighed. Faith is not believing without evidence. Faith is trusting based on evidence, experience, reason, history. Science itself operates on faith. Faith in the reality is orderly. Faith in our senses are reliable. undeniable, and faith that logic applies universally. Those assumptions cannot be proven by science, yet science depends on them. The idea that God and science are enemies is not scientific, it's philosophical, and it's a modern one. Science explains how creation works, God explains why creation exists. You don't have to choose between them because they answer different questions, and separating them doesn't elevate science, it limits it. Have a good day, guys. Bye.